Hello everybody, my name is Beefman101 and welcome back to Buried. Now, it's been something like 2 months since I've gotten back around to record this game. And the reason being, I completely forgot. And it was around the time that Doom just started, Subnautica was really picking up pace. I started playing Slime Rancher and all these types of games that I completely forgot about Buried, and I am very sorry to anybody who followed the series for the 3 episodes that I've already done. I believe this is number 4, and I believe we're getting close to the end or halfway to the end. From what I remember last time is we killed Marcus, or Marcus tried to kill somebody and then we shot him. I believe I remember shooting Marcus from what I remember, and I believe we're traveling through the halls, and I believe we alerted the shadows, or whatever you'd like to call them. But when I loaded up the game here, it instantly went into the game. So we're starting in an elevator. I don't know if this was the beginning or not, but it's from where it started me, and the game won't let you go back. So it kind of sucks a little. So the ride up the elevator is intense. I take a series of deep breaths, doing everything I can to stay in control. Amy has gotten back to her feet, but her head is pressed against the elevator wall as she suppresses the series of sobs. I find myself trying to remember the way those creatures looked, but my mind seems to shudder at the effort. I have seen something that is an impossibility, a mockery of what I know is real. This fills me with a terror that dwarfs anything else. I have felt something discovering the facility. Let me redo that whole sentence. This fills me with a terror that dwarfs anything else that I have ever felt discovering the facility. I try to focus my mind on something else, and that's when I remember that I've murdered Marcus, that I've just murdered Marcus. I killed Marcus, I say. The thought feeling like jumping into cold water. Had you ever killed somebody before? Amy asks. No. He was going to kill me, she says. I'm sure of it. Probably. Well, thank you, she says, but her tone is unsteady and her face is unreadable. I still can't believe I did it. That was a hard choice, if I remember. I can't even imagine, she says. She then looked to me and asked, all of that? It really happened, right? I can only nod because I feel some sort of her disbelief trying to sneak into me, almost like it's contagious. So, I say, how do you end up here? She gives a nervous chuckle and shrugs. I used to work with the Pentagon. It was some pretty upper echelon stuff, and I can't really discuss it. I assume this place is even more upper, like, echelon, I say. This place isn't even on the scale, she answers. My other job was a cakewalk compared to this. Then, why stay, I say? Because the money is ridiculous. I have a 13-year-old daughter already talking about Harvard. You do the math. Harvard, huh? That's pretty ambitious. Or any other kids? Oh, Harvard sounds ambitious. Oh, I know. She's a force of nature. Her dad ran off when she was 3. So for a long time, it's just been her and me. Emmy pauses, before continuing softly. What if I never see... Her voice breaks off. The words too terrible to say. Her eyes fill with tears. The elevator comes to a stop. The slight ding of it interrupts the moment. Amy hastily wipes her eyes, and we waste no time in getting back inside the command center. Continue. Oh, back in the command center. Didn't we leave a dude here? I don't remember. I ready the rifle, suddenly certain that there are more of those creatures waiting for us in the hallway of the 2nd level. But the way is clear, allowing us to haul ass to the command center. Once again, I found myself staring at the screen that showed my ruined worksite. Okay, Amy says, typing the commands rapidly. It can't be that hard. I keep peeking over my shoulder, my senses feeling as if the monsters are sneaking up on us, mere inches away. I then think of Dennis and wonder how he's doing far back on level 3. Is he safe? Oh, that's who we left. We left Dennis. I look back into the screens and see that Amy has finally found what she's looking for. A prompt on the screen says, override of hangar doors, and level 3 locks require clearance code. Amy types in a number with shaky fingers and the screen goes black for a moment. The words override confirmed come up on the screen. Amy jumps from the chair and heads out of the room. We have to be quick, she says. We have exactly 20 minutes to open the hangar doors. What happens in 20 minutes? Or let's keep moving. What happens in 20 minutes, huh? The locks will kick in again, she says. It's a security measure. I couldn't do anything about it. I follow her out of the command center and bound back down towards the hallway, the same elevator that brought us here. Amy punches the elevator button and the doors slide open. We're taking the same elevator back to the biochem room, I ask. Those creatures are still down there. There's even more in the other direction, remember, she says. Hopefully they've left. Hopefully. Neither of us say anything. Neither say anything else as we share a look of immense dread. We step back into the elevator and head down to the biochem room on level 3. Okay, let's go. Back in the elevator, huh? Oh, is this the biochem room? This is where we shot Marcus, right? Yeah. I can't remember. As the elevator doors open, we peer out, looking to see if the creatures are still in the area, but it's clear. When Amy looks to me, her eyes are clear and strong. Marcus wasn't entirely wrong, Amy says as we start walking back towards the hangar. About what, I ask? About how I am partially to blame for this? You're right, you are, or why would you be to blame? Let's ask her that question. Why would you be to blame? Oh, and I clicked out. That's so weird. Some of the things we do here, it's scary. We should have known that one day something like this would happen. Everybody here with the knowledge of what goes on level 3 is to blame, she says. It's a highly advanced research facility, I say, doing amazing but risky stuff. So yeah, you're partially to blame for this just by working here, but I can understand the dedication. So why don't you tell me a bit more about what goes on in level 3, I ask. Are you familiar with the Large Hadron Collider over in Switzerland? I've heard the phrase, but that's pretty much it, I say. It's a powerful particle accelerator, she explains. Right down, they're using it to try and create what's called dark matter. It's theorized that this dark matter actually makes up the majority of the universe, but parts of the universe very different from ours. My guess is that people in the LHC will probably create their first dark matter particle in about 2018 or 19. Here in this facility, we were able to create one almost 10 years ago. It was the key to our research. So you just kept that to yourself, or? Okay, yeah, you guys do you. So does this have anything to do with those things, or what does this matter do? Let's ask what this matter does. I'm interested. We use dark matter to assist with the instantaneous transfer of our subject, but we have yet to perfect it or understand why it works. So you're saying it lets you gain access to different dimensions, I ask? That's the theory, she says. During the point-to-point transfer, the subjects are gone for about 3 to 6 seconds. There's no way we can see or measure their presence, but it exists somewhere. From what we can tell, they exist in a kind of void. What's that place like? We don't know. There may be an infinite number of voids or spaces. Some of them appear to be just nothingness, a vacuum, or exotic matter. We're taking out places that we can only measure with instruments. What does that mean, I ask? Do you know what these places look like? No, it means in order to describe it, you would have to be a mathematician, and I would have to walk you through reams of data and equations. So even though we can describe them, we're still a long way from figuring out what these places look like. Sorry, I say, feeling my mind starting to bend inward again. As we continue to walk between the silos, we pass an area where we left Marcus's body. I can barely even glance at his body, still unable to believe that I was responsible for killing him. I also don't want to take an additional look look at the additional damage the monsters cause. A pool of blood and mangled clothes are all I can see through the corner of my eye. I realize that we are walking very close together between the silos, perhaps trying to create the illusion of safety. We reach the exit connecting to the hangar doors, where Dennis hopefully still is. My guts clench and my heart hammers in my chest as we open the door and walk through. I lift the rifle, but at first it seems that there's nothing waiting for us. And that's when I see a glowing, hulking shape to my left, closing in fast. We're about to die. Just saying. Alright, continue. Well, that was creepy. What is it, though? Oh, that's some ominous music you got there. My god. The creature is about 10 feet away and coming quickly, so the first thing I do that comes to mind, I drop to the ground, make myself a very small target, and raise the rifle. I'm not sure if I should just unload on the bastard or try to be choosy with my shots and weaken him, or at least slow it down. Now here's where they get you. Now let me tell you a bit about bullets, even though I know nothing about bullets. I'm gonna shoot to weaken, because I swear to God, we die at the end because we have no ammo. So we're gonna shoot to weaken, even though, oh, it might kill the girl. That was a mistake. My shot causes the entire milky white frame to jerk to the floor. It flounders like ghost tentacles, writhing with rage as it cries out to me. It seems to turn in a jerky way, parts of it appearing and disappearing every few feet. It moves down the hall and out of sight. I look quickly around for others, but there is only Amy. She looks at me where the monster went, with his eyes in her face and pale, and wonder if, like me, she's able to feel her mind trying to retreat. Come on, I say. That's fine, Dennis. And get through these hangar doors. Amy glances at her watch and nods. We're already down to 6 minutes. We turn towards the hangar doors, and I'm a little disgusted with myself because the bloody scene that was so shocked now seems mild. Amy goes to work on the computer console on the other side of the doors. She starts punching in keys before saying, "This is gonna take some time." "I thought you already unlocked it," I asked. "I did," she says. "But for this door, there's still security permissions I need to hack. Marcus would have known how to do this." She trails off and I decide to let her work. Suddenly something slams into me. I feel my feet leave the floor and I'm literally thrown across the concrete. I look in time to see one of those creatures. It's apparently in no hurry to attack me, again focusing on Amy instead. She's not armed. I need to come up with a plan to get this thing far away from her so she can focus on getting that door open. It raises one of its flickering appendages, making me certain that this is part of its makeup is pure light and energy. I could easily have take a shot with my rifle, but my mind again goes to how much remaining ammo do I have? I can't leave Amy. But the only thing I can do is get it to chase me out of this room somewhere. Okay, I was choosy with my shots, so I could take this shot, is my guess. So I'm gonna shoot the monster, because if I run, it could get Amy. I lift the rifle groggily and fire as quickly as I can, not having good footing and still reeling from the attack. The aim is off, but the noise distracts the monster from Amy. The monster turns to me, and I again face to face with something that has no business being in this world. In this reality. Its body gives off a sort of glow around the central part, a bulbous core that is branched off into 2 humps, very much like a spider. Again, I sense that it has visual information is not accurate, but it's the best I can do to make sense of this impossible creature. I pull the trigger again, and this shot is taking the monster directly in the center. It spasms backwards and lets out a shriek of agony that makes my ears feel like they'll explode. From somewhere very close by, another monster cries out in response. "You okay?" I ask Amy. I can clearly see her battling for control of her faculties. Steel determination wins out, and she gives a grim nod. "Any sign of where Dennis went?" I ask, hoping she hasn't noticed the body somewhere. "No," she replies. It's then that I realize I have no idea how many rounds I still have remaining in the rifle. This isn't a model I'm familiar with outside of some deer hunting. I'm not much of an expert on firearms, still I am unable to locate the chamber easily and see that there are 4 rounds left. Not great, but it could be worse, so we have 4 bullets. How are we on time, I ask her. 4 minutes. I'm going as fast as I can, she says. Amy does her best to focus on the keyboard, but there's still no sign of Dennis. Before I have time to look around, the screeching sound erupts on the other end of the room. I bring up my rifle in a shooter's distance and turn around. With the hangar doors right behind me, no signs of Dennis, and a closing window of time, I have to be confident. Yet, when two monsters come around the corner, my body wants to shut down. The appendages seem to jump in time and space, reaching out for a split second, independent of my body, and then disappearing back from where they came from. It turns and screeches at me, its glowing tentacles snaking out of its body. My knees tremble uncontrollably. Behind me, Amy shrieks. I feel myself losing control, my mind sliding into the abyss of insanity. I pull myself back from the blink. I've got to stay control. I don't know. I pull myself back from the brink. I've got to stay in control. We can't keep shooting though. What if we turn away? I'm gonna test my theory. We're gonna turn away and hope nothing happens. I hope to God. I could stand here and use my last 4 shots, but what good would it do? So instead, I turn to face the hangar doors. How much longer before these things are open? Not long, she says, furiously typing into the terminal's commands flip the screen. I doubt it. I think to myself, can I do anything to help, I ask? She doesn't answer. Deep in concentration, I turn back around and see the looming shape appear. The creature comes around the corner, screaming out that static sound. I step away from Amy and the hangar doors and towards the monster, ready to defend her. I ready my rifle, but the creature wastes no time. It makes that jerky motion towards me, and there's a sharp pain in my chest as it collides with me. Or through me. It's hard to tell. My instinct is to try and grapple or hold onto this thing, but then I realize I don't even know if that will work. Let's try and grab the creature. If it's pure energy, it won't work. I try to grapple with the creature, but it feels very different from the struggle with Marcus earlier. It's not easily grabbed. My fingers slide through parts of it, some parts like a ghost, others like a jellyfish. Touching it burns my hand, but only slightly. Then I realize I can't grip it. I quickly spring away and turn to face it. With a scream of defiance, I raise my rifle around and put a round in its core. The shot lands dead center, and the light inside it flickers almost violently. It falls back against the wall, issuing a hiss, or its telltale static noise. It then jerks away and retreats, at least for now. Another terror appears as out of nowhere, screaming at me with its high-pitched whine. Oh my god, this is getting worse and worse. Okay. It bounds forward, charging in its strange, spastic way. I aim the rifle, intended to take this one to the core, too. I take several shots, but it's still coming at me. As it slams into me, I realize that I only have 1 bullet left. 1 bullet. On contact, the wind is knocked out of my lungs and back of my head strikes the floor, but neither of these things is alarming as the fact that the beast is on top of me. Its exterior is like a seashell that has been pounding on the surf for so long that it has lost all of its edges and ridges, but the grip it tries to capture with is pure violence. I feel those light-soaked appendages start to wrap around me. I raise the rifle knowing I still have 1 shot left. The weight of the monster is erratic. One moment I feel weightless, another I feel like I'm going to be crushed. I push upward with the rifle's aim when it's overpowering me. I'm not sure I'd like to be able to get an effective shot off. I see the core of its body, a spider-like shape, connected to the rest of it by thin white strings of tissue. I know I'll be dead within seconds unless I can manage a shot, but I don't know where to aim. This thing has already survived for too long. Shoot the center, shoot the tentacles. I'm gonna shoot the center because it flickered last time it went away. The creature is seconds away from tearing into my shoulders. I have to stop it now. I grunt as I try to angle the rifle in the direction of the beast's formless core. The appendages begin turning around the barrel, and it's as the moment I pull the trigger, unleashing my final shot. Thank God I saved this bullet earlier. See, I'm right. The shot graves it enough to win me some breathing room. I have saved my shoulder, but this thing is still alive and kicking. But then I see the creature extend its tentacles in a violent whip-like motion away from me, while it makes a static screeching sound. The creature disappears into thin air and reappears a few feet from me, retreating. With a shoulder and a cry of desperation, I get to my feet just in time to see the monster head in the direction of the biochem room. Amy looks over at me from returning hangar doors, looking petrified. I manage to help myself up when I see another figure nearing us, but to my relief, I realize it's a human figure, Dennis, with a gun. "Are you okay, boss?" he asks, but his eyes aren't on me. They're looking to the creature, trying to understand exactly what he has just seen. About 15 minutes ago, I heard the door to the maintenance room unlock, Amy says, pointing to the room I tried to burst into my way earlier. Amy says, when I did the override up in the command center, it unlocked all smaller doors down here, including the maintenance room. I went inside there I hid. Dennis continues, and while I was waiting for you two to come back, I found a massive trunk. There were a few guns in it, so I grabbed this one, he says, patting his shotgun. "I'm glad you're safe, Dennis." "Glad you found some weapons." "I'm glad Dennis is safe. I was worried, bro." "Thanks, boss," he says. "Me too." "Great. Now, how is that door coming along?" I ask Amy. She makes a few final key presses and says, "Done." The doors open with a noise of hydraulics and a whoosh of air. Dennis, Amy, and I climb up the head through the doors, moving on nothing more than adrenaline. I see her looking longingly at the maintenance room. Dennis took out a shotgun from the room Dennis took a shotgun from. "You get into the hangar," Dennis says. "I'll get some more firepower." Satisfied with the plan, Amy heads to the door. We scramble inside, finally inside the hangar. Dennis approaches from behind, holding several shotguns and looking like a kid who grabbed an armful of Halloween candy. Amy reaches out for the 9mm with one hand. Dennis turns to me and holds the shotgun and a handgun for me to choose. Both look deadly. The shotgun looks more powerful, but the handgun will be more precise. I'm taking the shotgun, are you kidding me? Let's play some Doom in this game. You took the shotgun. I take the shotgun, surprised at how heavy it feels, but also how invigorated by its weight. There are more creatures coming, as many as a dozen. They are floating down the hall, quickly, with their tentacles slithering. By the way, their light seems to mingle together. It's almost beautiful. The way their light mingles together is almost beautiful. "Close the door," I yelled at Amy. She dashes to another terminal, mounted on the inside of the hangar doors, and tries desperately to close them. "It's not working," she says with the tears in her eyes. "The terminal is disabled." Dennis looks through the open doors, readying himself to shoot the first monster that nears us. "So we try and slow down a few, or just run for it?" he asks, his gun at the ready. I'm gonna say run for it because we have ammo. So if we get caught, we can shoot them, right? "Good idea," Amy says. With that, we turn around and sprint out into the hangar floor. Okay, well, I guess we're gonna run for it, huh? One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Continue. Oh wow, that's a big open space. Dock number 2. The room is enormous, so large that I could call it a room seems silly. A large concrete floor stretches out below an expanse lofting a ceiling. This area is almost empty except for one side, which has rows and rows of metal barrels. Back on the far wall is a lit area that seems to expose more rooms, labs, and machinery. Also in the rear of the hangar, we can see some kind of chamber or control center. Dennis and I follow Amy across the hangar floor. Behind us, a series of rough slithering sounds tells us that the creature we have them made their way into the hangar. From somewhere up ahead, a loud buzzing noise sounds out. It reminds me of one of the slight buzzing noise that I've heard in the forest, the noise that I've tried to avoid. I look ahead and see that in the far back of the hangar, a bright red light is flashing. There is a small hatch or door below the light. That hatch is open, and I can see a shape inside of it. I barely make out the shape of a man standing there, holding an industrial microphone. and as soon as I see him, it is huge and provide voice. It blares down the intercom system, and he sounds pissed. "I don't know who the hell you are," he says. "This is a government facility on lockdown, and there are protocols to shit." I assume the curse coincides at the exact moment that he sees the creatures. They are making their way through the hangar doors. There are about 20 feet between us. And the creatures. I act instinctively, squeezing 2 shots with the shotgun. The first sprays low, hitting the floor and causing a shatter of sparks, but the second shot causes one monster to jerk backwards. It's a good thing that the shotgun is quite forgiving. Amy and Dennis take the cue and start firing as well. The floor becomes littered with swirling white fluid from the wounded creatures' bodies, but they are not slowing down. The alarm seems to keep shrieking behind us, and as I turn around to see if anything's changed back there, I trip over my own feet. I hit the ground hard, and in an almost comic fashion, slide several feet across the floor. From the ground, I see that I have managed to turn back 4 of them, but I also see that my estimate of a dozen is off. There are at least 20 of them, and they're sick, dim, sinister, and gloomy. Their appendages seem to bind together as they come forward. My only hope of survival is that the man in the far doorway somehow shuts that hangar doors. His voice comes blaring over the intercom again, broken by the booming noise of gunfire that are landing down. "Run here towards the isolation chamber." I'm not sure how much time we have. I realize that I can sprint ahead of Amy and Dennis, or I can hand back and give them cover. I'm gonna keep shooting to cover them because I'm a good person. Go inside where that guy is, I say. I'll make sure we don't have any of these things right on our tails. I'll hold them back for a while. I know it sounds macho, but it feels like the only right thing to do. I have to at least try to give them some kind of chance for escape. So as Amy and Dennis run through the doors, I blast at the next thing that I see moving. All I get for my troubles is that static-like hiss and a high-pitched whistle noise. I'm able to beat them back a bit, forcing them to scatter. Each flickering of light is a small victory. If nothing else, I'm buying Amy and Dennis time. When I'm certain there is nothing more I could do, I turn around and run. I hustle, quickly catching up to Amy and Dennis, who stop and turn to provide me with cover fire. "There," Amy says, pointing to the small doors where the man was standing earlier. The swarm is less than 15 feet away now, so furious that they are pushing through one another to get to us. I fire, still not quite used to the kick of the shotgun. I aim for one of the core, but the shot hits low. Still, it knocks the bastard back, giving me time to readjust. We are in the middle of the hangar floor now, with the isolation chambers ahead and the monsters behind. Beside me, Dennis also fires. The kick of the shotgun jolts in, probably a result of being weakened from blood loss. His shot lands true, though, causing a jerking stumble and the flickering of its light. "We're almost in," Amy yells. As we get close to the door, we hope this will save us. Let's get Dennis and Amy to go in first. Oh, I clicked out of the game, my bad. Get inside. I tell Amy and Dennis, motioning for them to get moving with my shotgun. I open the door and give Dennis a push towards it. He resists, more eager to try. Get inside, I tell Amy and Dennis, motioning for them to get moving with my gun. I open the door and I give Dennis a push towards it. He resists, more eager to try taking down another one of the beasts before he makes it to safely. He eventually gives in. I wait a beat to make sure the Amy's inside. I fire off a few rounds on the creatures that are still headed towards us, hoping to slow them down. When Amy and Dennis clear the door, I nearly dash inside, but it feels like something hot seep into my back. "Roger," Dennis yells. The pain in my back is so intense that I barely notice the fact that I'm being lifted from the floor. I look down to see one of those creatures is using its flowy arms to grab me by the waist. Its tentacles are wrapping around me. It lifts me into the air, as if presenting me as a trophy to its friends. I can't angle the shotgun to fire around, so I bring the stock of it down to the monster's translucent, smooth body. It's like striking at frog. at Fog. My attack has very little effect as it continues to hoist me up, screeching its approval. Dennis comes back out of the room and fires off a shotgun. The bullet catches the monster in the underside of its core, sending it backwards and causing it to freeze for a moment. It releases me and I hit the ground, dropping the gun, and again finding myself unable to breathe. I feel the slight dizziness that fades. I see Dennis is still standing outside of the door. He's firing into the beast like a madman and doesn't see the one to his left coming at him, coming in against the edge of the wall. Push him out of the way. Dennis, look out. Dennis, look out, bro. Like, oh my god. Like, if I was in this situation, I wouldn't want to, like, push him because then, like, I might hit me. Hearing my voice, he turns to look directly at me, but opposite of what he needs to do. Behind him, the creature glides up, shaking back and forth in the space as it moves. By the time Dennis turns to see the creature, it has already drawn several of its appendages back to strike. My god. Dennis tries to raise a gun, but is knocked back by one of the tentacles. The second tentacle strikes Dennis as he is spun around and thrown off balance by the attack. Dennis catches himself before falling. A third tentacle wraps around Dennis's forearms, and I can see it squeeze, tightening instantly. The tip of the appendages passes clean through his hand, its blood-soaked tip poking out through its palms. Dennis's face grimaces with pain as he tries to wrench his arm free, but the creature's tentacle has its hand speared, like a nail through wood. In a moment of dark clarity, I realize that I can free him with a clean shot as the tentacles move, but it will likely mean blowing Dennis's hand off. Dennis, I yelled over the creature's high voice. Can you get free? I have a shot, maybe. No, Dennis gasped as the creature tosses him around by his hand like a puppet. Don't shoot. I can get free. I can't tell if he's right, but the other monsters are starting to encircle him. I need to act fast. This is one of those tough decisions. Dennis, my god, I'm leaning more towards shooting his hand, because if they're encircling him and I have to act fast, I don't have time to wait to see if he can get through or not. I literally have to act now. So, don't hate me for this, but I'm shooting his hand. I decided to take Dennis's hand to save him. If I don't take the shot while I have it, they're gonna kill him. In the last-ditch effort, I tried to get a good shot on the monster, but there is none. I'll hurt Dennis even worse if I try. I take aim and fire off a shot. It lands perfectly and results in a lot of blood and streams from both Dennis and the creature. Dennis's hand disappears into a spray of red, and the monster's appendage simply fades away. It literally seems to wink out of existence. The creature screams while Dennis hits the floor, wailing in pain. The reality of what I have just done sets in and nearly paralyzes me. Get him, Amy says. I'll cover you. I nod, still reeling from the sight of what I have done to Dennis. I stumble out of the door. Amy is true to her words. She fires off a few rounds in the approaching monsters as I drag it to Dennis. I grab a hold of him with my good arm. I drag him backwards as fast as I can, and I nearly falling down in the process. When I reach the doorway, Amy reaches down and helps to drag his body the final few feet into the room. She manages to pull off another shot, and then I look to see what she has hit. I see another dozen or so of the monsters. Dennis is writhing in pain, and when he looks up at me, he is sneering. You crazy asshole, he screams. He shudders violently, sweat and tears recoursing down his pale face. Amy slams the door behind us. Finally, we're inside the room, hopefully safe within what looks to be an isolation chamber of sorts. Among the frame, a little electric lock beeps as the door is secured. End of chapter 4. Self-control. You and 49% of players shot to weaken the creature, not kill it. Keep them at bay. You and 59% of players shot the creature ahead instead of running to distract it. Weapon choice. You and 43% of players took the shotgun instead of the handgun. That's surprising. Judgment call. You and 57% of players disobeyed Dennis's wishes to not shoot, causing him to lose his hand. That's really surprising. The choices were very split, like 49, 59, 43, 57. That's amazingly close to what I thought it'd be. I thought it'd be like 75 and 25, like it usually is. Okay, well that is surprising. Well, that's the end of this episode then, because that's the end of chapter 4. So there were a bunch of cool moments in this one. Definitely, I thought I made the right choices, but your choices could be different. I encourage you to get this game. It's either free or it's a couple bucks, but it's incredible. It has so many loops and twists that you can go through, and you can choose like you're basically your own adventure. It's like those choose your own adventure books that you used to play as a kid, but in like game form. So I do encourage you to get this game. But as for now, thank you guys so much for watching. I believe we'll have one more episode before the end of the game, if I'm right. But there may be more after that. I have no idea. But as for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. And Magicorn, I don't want to Skype right now. Come on, put the thing down. But as for now, thank you guys so much for watching this video. And I will see all of you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. I wonder how good chapter 5 is going to be, because this one was tough.